Hi guys, back with another video for you today. I'm talking about new fragrances. A ton of new fragrances is going to hit the shelves very soon. New fragrances that I'm going to talk to you about today in this video. And I think there's some exciting fragrances. There's a lot of fragrances that I've gotten my nose on already, and I'll tell you what I remember about them as I'm talking about the different fragrances, but there's a ton of new stuff that's coming out, and there's some exciting stuff and some kind of duds as well that I'm going to talk to you about. Also, if you caught my previous video, I am testing out Guerlain's new Shalimar L'Essence in this video, as I shot part of the video for this prior to this, and then after I shoot this video, I'm going to end that video with my thoughts. But if you haven't watched my video on Shalimar L'Essence, please go catch that, because I'm going to be smelling it throughout the video here. But in a nutshell, I'm going to put some on here as well. It's a really nice smelling vanilla so far. You are getting the original DNA in this. It smells like the original Guerlain fragrance, but very modern. It's definitely very modern. And also, when I first put my nose on it, this was my very first test. It was my first impression. I did get this kind of a doughy texture from it, which I'm still getting. It's almost like a combination of syrupiness and this doughy texture, a powdery kind of dusty doughy texture. I'll talk about it a little bit more throughout this video, but as I said, if you haven't caught that video, go catch it and to learn more about this fragrance. But the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about, I'm very, very excited about, that I got to test at Pitti Fragranze Florence recently, is Tower Perfume's latest flanker for L'air du Désert Marocain. It's L'air du Désert Marocain Noir, one of my favorite fragrances, one of my favorite niche fragrances, and this seems like an uber luxurious take on the Tower Perfume's L'air du Désert Marocain fragrance. And it seems also the original L'air du Désert Marocain versus the Obscur du Désert, there are differences between the dryness of the fragrance, and this Noir seems to be the most syrupy, and I kind of like syrupy fragrances a bit more than dry fragrances. So I can't wait to get a bottle of this new fragrance and compare all three versions for you guys. But L'air du Désert Marocain Noir features notes of cedarwood, ambergris, oak moss, vetiver, lapdanum, leather, jasmine, spices, bergamot, petitgrain, and lemons. If you're a fan of the OG original L'air du Désert Marocain, let me know. Do you prefer L'air du Désert Marocain or Obscur du Désert? Which do you prefer? And if you've already gotten your nose on the Noir, do let me know what is your favorite. Also, just to let you know, I'm actually here in a very sunny and actually warm little section of the apartment that I have here in Cannes during duty-free TFWA show. And I have transition glasses on, unfortunately, so it's darkened. So I'm sorry that has happened, but I forgot that my glasses are transition and I couldn't shoot in the actual apartment, so I apologize for that. But the second fragrance I'm going to talk to you about, that I've already spoken about on the channel in the Born to Stand Out deep dive video, is called Dirty Milk. As I mentioned in that video, Born to Stand Out does have many fragrances that are named with the word dirty. So this is the latest, and if you caught the video, I did react kind of weirdly to the fragrance Dirty Milk. It's interesting, throughout that video, I felt like the fragrance got really nice smelling. In fact, it reminded me of a more potent version of Molton Brown's Milk Musk, or is it Milky Musk? There's two fragrances that are kind of similar. There's Parfums de Parfum has a Milk Musk or Milky Musk, and then there's Molton Brown. But the initial spray of Dirty Milk is just that. It's a bit dirty and it smells like turned milk. So stay tuned for a video with June of Born to Stand Out, the founder. He discusses this in the scenario and why he created this fragrance. He will tell you, and I understand now why he did it, but it is a bit off-putting when you first smell this fragrance. This does smell like milk gone bad. So that's the idea, but the dry down was really, really awesome. And if you like that kind of Molton Brown type of milk musk or Milky Musk, you will enjoy it as long as you can get past the initial blast, which does come off like sour milk. So it is a bit weird. But the next fragrance is called Nova Vanilla from the house of Atelier Désert. I just also discovered this at Pitti Fragranze. Unfortunately, I was actually let down with this fragrance. It's not one of my favorites from the house. Lune Feline is a great fragrance. Rouge Sarré is my favorite, but this one reminded me of vanilla powder, unfortunately. And I think What was the house that had a fragrance similar to vanilla powder? We actually featured it in our mystery box. I'm drawing a blank with the name. And this one also reminds me of vanilla powder as well, which is kind of a letdown for me. For me, my favorites from the house of Atelier Désert are, of course, Rouge Sarré #1, waiting for an extract of that. Lune Feline, they already have an extract of that. And I also like the Cocoa Kimia, really love that one. And now we've got the Nova Vanilla. It's Vanilla Absolute, Bourbon and Madagascar Vanilla, Musk, Amber Woods, Mimosa Absolute, and Mineral Notes. Let me know if you've got your nose on this one. I'd like to find out. Next, we've got a fragrance from the house of Xerjoff, Xerjoff Via Manzoni 20. This is a Milan boutique exclusive, and it features notes of sandalwood, brandy, cherries, myrrh, vetiver, coriander, rosemary, davana, and juniper. I haven't got my nose on this one. Hopefully I'll be able to see Xerjoff here at TFWA in Cannes, and I'll get to sample this one. But this is apparently a Milan boutique exclusive, so you'd have to go to their boutique to sample this to get it. I'm assuming you can order it from the brand, but yeah. Let me know if you've gotten your nose on it. Add a comment below. All right, next we've got a fragrance from the house of Lorenzo Pazzaglia. Are you guys a fan of this house? It's called Coffee Passion. They do seem to do their gourmands quite a bit. They do know how to do gourmands, although I think sometimes they're just a bit overwhelming, concentration-wise as well. And I love strong fragrances, but I like some of their fragrances. I think my favorite from Lorenzo Pazzaglia still is Carbonara. And apparently, the founder of the brand, Lorenzo, used to be known for spaghetti carbonara. And no, spaghetti carbonara and carbonara are not the same. It's called carbonara. And I think they're using the spices from the spaghetti carbonara. It's an amber fragrance. But somebody recently commented and said, why would somebody want to smell like spaghetti carbonara? And I'm like, it doesn't smell like spaghetti carbonara. It's just the spices that are used. The carbonara fragrance from Lorenzo Pazzaglia is a amber fragrance, and it's a super spicy and peppery amber. And from what I remember, because I love spaghetti carbonara, there's a lot of black pepper in spaghetti carbonara. From what I remember, experience, and eating the stuff. Carbonara fragrance does have a lot of black pepper spice, but Coffee Passion has notes of coffee, sugar, apricots, coconuts, coconut milk, cedar, chocolate, hazelnuts, cinnamon, benzoin, vanilla, white musk, caramel, tonka, heliotrope. Let me know if you've got your nose on Coffee Passion. Add a comment below, I should say. Let's get a whiff of Shalimar L'Essence as well. Smells really lovely, but I feel like I'm a little let down with it, unfortunately. Why? I was expecting something a bit more wow, but I think for me, my favorite of these last several flankers of Shalimar has to be Tonka, Millicine Tonka. And I wouldn't say this is bad. This is probably my second favorite in the lot, next to the Tonka, next to the Iris, and next to the Jasmine. And again, I never got my nose on the Vanille Planifolia. Does this smell like Vanille Planifolia? If you've compared the two, let me know. Do add a comment below. So I've got a great fragrance to talk to you about that I smelled at Pitti Fragranze a couple of weeks ago from the house of Laurent Maison. Are you guys fans of this house? They do have some great fragrances. I should do a video on the house. They have a great ginger. They have a great pistachio. They have several great awesome offerings, and of course we did feature one of their fragrances in our mystery box, Fildor #1. Did you guys get a chance to smell that one? Let me know, add a comment below. But their new fragrance, oh my god, is so delicious. It's called Lineum. It features notes of rum, vanilla, popcorn, pralines, benzoin, myrrh, citron, bergamot, candied fruits, and musk. Super yummy gourmand. It's almost like a sweet and salty, sticky, caramelly, boozy, popcorny kind of gourmand. So delicious. It's super delicious. I think that's going to be a great hit once it launches, because people that are into gourmands are going to really appreciate that one. And what I like about it is that whole salty sweet combo. It really worked great. Now, Byredo has a new fragrance, and it's this new large bottle called Bois Obscur, and I think they're now doing larger sized extract fragrances from what I see with this fragrance. So Bois Obscur features notes of oud, patchouli, eucalyptus, labdanum, amber, tuberose, saffron, sandalwood, jasmine, and papyrus. So since the acquisition of Byredo from the Manzanita group, Puig took over Byredo for like $1 billion, I think, over $1 billion. I think they're cranking out all of the flankers now. It seems like the Puig group is interested in, you know, making money off of their flankers and things. So if you've gotten your nose on this Bois Obscur, let me know. Do add a comment below. I'd like to find out about it. But Moschino is launching a flanker to Toy Boy. It's Toy Boy 2. Been a while. Toy Boy came out in 2019. This is like 6 years after that they're launching a flanker of a men's fragrance that they launched 6 years ago. It's a bit late, isn't it? But then again, some brands release countless flankers over and over again, and some brands like Chanel, they don't release flankers that often. So is Moschino one of those brands? I don't know, but maybe they're working things around and trying to start doing flankers, because the brand is owned by Euroitalia, and I thought this company or this conglomerate or distributor does do a lot of flankers. I know they've done quite a few flankers in the feminine toy series of fragrances, but this is the first flanker of Toy Boy. So this features notes of vetiver, coffee, akigala wood, ginger, nutmeg, and myrrh. So I think the first fragrance was done, God, I'm drawing a blank with his name, a Givaudan perfumer. And from the looks of this is also a Givaudan perfumer because they have akigala wood in the notes breakdown. So let me know if you've gotten your nose on this, add a comment below. We've got a fragrance from the house of Nishane called A Date with Oud, and date as in a date, but also the fruit dates. Do you guys like dates and oud? I think I don't like this combo. It doesn't excite me for some reason. I like the idea of dates in fragrances. I like it in Jardin de Misfa for Ennui Nomade, but sometimes it just doesn't really have a very standout smell. So it's underwhelming, but we'll see what this one's all about. Created by Catherine Jarno, it's featuring notes of dates, leather, oud, tonka beans, I should say, frankincense, grapefruit, and black pepper. So Nishane was a bit quiet for a while. I guess they've been working on a lot of fragrances, and now I feel like they're just cranking out a few fragrances, but a lot of them seem to be boutique exclusives. They had a Harrods, a Selfridges. I actually got to smell one that was supposed to get a worldwide release created by Jordi Fernandez. That was really great, but I was sworn not to talk about it and until they announced it. But did they announce it already? I can't remember. But let's move on to the house of Acqua di Parma. They have a new one. It's called Zafferano Ambrosia. Zafferano Ambrosia. So I guess it's a saffron focused fragrance. I really like their fragrance with the jasmine that came out, but man, it was so expensive. It was like over $400 for 100 ml from Acqua di Parma, which is mostly a freshie. That was disappointing, but I really like the way it smells. So let's see how this one smells, but this features notes of amber, patchouli, vanilla, saffron, jasmine sambac, orange blossom, red mandarin orange, ginger, and Calabrian bergamot. So I know this is part of the darker bottle collection. Zafferano is also saffron, so this most likely goes leathery, but I'd like to get my nose on it and check it out. If you've gotten your nose on it, do let us know, add a comment below. Let's check this out again. Maybe this will grow on me a little bit more, but right now I'm still preferring the Millesime Tonka that came out several years ago, but I should say this is not part of the Millesime. It's a 100th anniversary, so perhaps this is a fragrance on its own. It's definitely a flanker, and as far as a flanker goes, the fact that I've sampled Millesime Tonka, I'm preferring that one more. But as I was saying earlier, this is definitely number 2, not number 1, because I do enjoy this more than the Iris and the Jasmine for sure. But it's got the DNA of the original also. So Dolce & Gabbana is redoing 2 classic fragrances and they're relaunching. Is it part of their exclusive lineup of fragrances? Because one of them was already in there, but they've rebranded it. We're talking about Sicily, reedition, originally from 2003. And then we've got Masculine, a reedition originally from 1999. So Masculine has been discontinued for a long time, but I thought Sicily was part of the exclusive collection from Dolce & Gabbana already. I looked up the prices for these and I wanted to buy the Masculine. It's like over 300 euros for a bottle of 100 ml. So it's quite pricey. So it seems that it's probably part of their upper end collection, but maybe a sub-collection called Reedition. So they're bringing back their older classics and putting them in there. Now let's see if they're going to bring back the ones in the animal bottles. What are they called? By, and I forgot those names. I recently bought vintage bottles of those two fragrances, but is it By, B-Y, and Her? I can't remember the names of those fragrances, but let's see if they bring those back. But Sicily features notes of aldehydes, Calabrian bergamot, heliotrope, honeysuckle, jasmine, sandalwood, white musk. So it's a originally fragrance launched in 2003, created by Nathalie Lorson, and this is the re-edition version of Sicily. And masculine is done by Dominic Ropian, and I can't remember if he did the original. And masculine re-edition features notes of Calabrian bergamot, Primo Fiore lemons, lavender, orange blossom, patchouli, and vetiver. Who's looking forward to these? And are you looking forward to two animal print bottles from the late 90s? Again, I hope they bring those back. I really like those two fragrances. We'll see if they do. So Rammstein has two feminine targeted releases that are going to be launched soon. And I'm a fan of these fragrances. They are cheap. They are launched in Germany because it's a celebrity fragrance line. And I do like some of their fragrances quite a bit. Eventually I'll do a deep dive on what I have in my collection of this house. If you can find them, get them, because they're constantly launching a lot of fragrances and they get released, they're selling, and then they end up at like discount shelves, and then they're cleared out and new ones come out. But these two fragrances are Dynamite for Her and Explosive for Her. But Dynamite for Her has notes of cherry blossom, rose, lily, jasmine, amber, sandalwood, clove leaf, violets, cherries, peach, black pepper, ginger, pralines, vetiver, cinnamon, spices, citruses, pomegranate, and patchouli. Lots going on in the notes breakdown for this one. And the next one, Explosive for Her, features white musk, lily of the valley, grapefruit, mandarin, rose, incense, amber, sandalwood, cedar, peony, patchouli, and raspberries. Let me know if you're a fan of this line. Are you up for a deep dive? Again, it's not easy to get their fragrances. eBay sells them once in a while, but they're like triple the price, quadruple the price of what you would pay for if you bought them in Germany. And earlier this year, I was in Germany for a brief couple of days, and I went to two Mueller stores, and they had them there. They had them discounted and everything, and I bought a few bottles and brought back. And let's see if I end up somewhere close to Germany and can find a few more, but I doubt on this trip. But the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is a new fragrance from Initio. I featured a new fragrance in the last video like this as well. Initio has a fragrance called Lift Me Up, featuring notes of bergamot, magnolias, vanilla, musk, ylang-ylang, and tonka beans. This sounds quite lovely. Fresh citruses with vanillic notes and kind of powdery, musky touches. I'm looking forward to it. But to me, even though it sounds great, it doesn't sound like super exciting. So let's see how it is. I'll have to get my nose on the previous launch as well. They're cranking out a few back-to-back fragrances all of a sudden, and I think it's a bit overwhelming from one brand, because I haven't even got my nose on the previous one, and now we have a new one. And I think they also launched another one earlier this year too, so too many fragrances back to back. But THOO, they've renamed themselves THOO, THOO. The House of Oud is now THOO. They have a new fragrance called Doux Ennui, another gourmand, super gourmand fragrance from THOO. Who's a fan of this house? I do have to say their bottles are amazing. I love their bottles, and some of their scents are also truly yummy. And this fragrance sounds quite yummy as well, featuring notes of benzoin, butter, marmalade, vanilla, peaches, apricots, amber, osmanthus, musk, ylang-ylang, salt, and mandarin. So it's a fruity, jammy, buttery fragrance. I was in a city for a week, and I had breakfast at the hotel, and one of my favorite things to have was this small baguette sliced in half with butter and jam. So I love eating this kind of crunchy but soft baguette with really yummy butter and jam on it. So it's kind of giving me the idea of that type of an experience for a gourmand fragrance. So let's see what it's all about. But the next fragrance and the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of Alexandre J. and it's a new fragrance from the house. Remember, Imperial Peacock, and the new fragrance from this house is called Sweet Enigma, and it's created by Flair Perfumers, and strawberries, pistachio, tonka beans, vanilla, benzoin, sesame seeds, and woodsy notes. Are you guys fans of the House of Alexandre J? Remember, we featured Imperial Peacock in one of our kits from last year, and I think it's a really popular fragrance because we have some individual samples laying around and people seem to keep coming back to it and buying it. I think also because the bottles themselves are quite expensive. It's about $400 for 100 ml, or maybe it's 120 ml. I can't remember the size. And so their fragrances are yummy. They're created by Flair Perfumers, and I'm really, really looking forward to this latest offering from Alexandre J. Hopefully I'll get to see them here at TFWA. But that's all the fragrances I have for you. Let me go ahead and smell Shalimar L'Essence once again. I do enjoy this one, but once again, the Tonka is my favorite. And again, most likely these are meant to be compared against, but as a flanker that was launched within the last 4 years or 5 years, the Millesime Tonka is so yummy. This, now that it's drying down on skin, does seem a bit less potent, and it has gone more classic as well. So even though I felt like it was a bit more modern, it's drying down to be a bit more classic. But again, it's super delicious. It would be my second favorite, as I said, not smelling Vanille Planifolia from the Millesime line and having smelled the Tonka, the Iris, and the Jasmine, this would be number 2. But still, Tonka wins. And yeah, stay tuned for the follow-up of, well, what I should say is go catch the video for this video because the follow-up will be in there. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. And don't forget to stick around for the bonus section. I've got 3 fragrances that I'm going to talk to you about as well that I've already spoken about. See you guys later. Bye-bye. All right, talking about 3 fragrances from the house of Thomas de Monaco. He's launching 3 new fragrances. I actually shot a video with Thomas at Paris Perfume Week earlier this year. If you haven't caught that video, go catch it. He explains the fragrances, but he's got 3 new fragrances that he's launching at once. And he's using 3 new perfumers for the first time for the launch of his 3 new fragrances. So we've got Fleur d'Angers, Jade Amour, Neo Eden. All 3 are great. My favorite is Jade Amour, or Jade Amour is what it's called. But I liked all 3 fragrances. The first one is Fleur d'Angers, created by Hugo Charon. It's aldehydes, pink pepper, raspberry, saffron, rum, suederol, orchinox, sandalwood, gurgeon balsam. And I've mentioned in videos that I'm not the biggest fan of aldehydes. I don't hate aldehydes, but there's always a reminder of Chanel No. 5 when I think of aldehydes. So there is that going forward. This one is aldehydes mixed with spices and also a smoky incense touch. So it's definitely wearable. It did remind me a little bit of Dior's New Look, the one created by Francis Kurkdjian, the redo that came out like 2-3 years ago. It did remind me a little bit of that, but that's not really wearing the fragrance. That's smelling it from just, you know, testing it out. The next fragrance is called Jade Amour, created by David Chiese. Ylang-Ylang, muscone, yellow mandarin, jasmine, sandalwood, bergamot, vanilla, vetiver. This is my favorite of the trio, but there is a weirdness about this fragrance. It does have a bit of like a over-ripened floral smell, kind of giving the idea of pulp. If you guys have ever smelled Byredo's pulp, there's this overripe fruits and vegetables kind of smell in there. This gives me that, but in more of a floral way. And actually, it was quite exciting with this one. So I haven't worn these fragrances yet, so I'll have to test them out and see what they're all about. But as far as testing them out multiple times, my favorite is Jade Amour. And the last fragrance is called Neo Eden, created by Augustin Lemierre, and it's featuring notes of nymphiol, magnolia, rhubarb, sclarine, peach, mimosa, whipped cream, vetiver, and cashmeran. So this is my, I shouldn't say least favorite, but the least experienced fragrance. I've completely forgotten about this one. I haven't sampled it since earlier this year. and I want to circle back to it. But if you've gotten your nose on these 3 fragrances, what are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to these 3 fragrances? For me, my favorite is still Raw Gold. I absolutely love it. And there's a few other fragrances that I really love. Obscur is also a favorite of mine. And what's the one with the Linden Blossom? I also really enjoy that one. So let's see how these do. Let's, you know, they're launching very soon, and I'll report back on them again very soon. But in the meantime, if you want to catch my video with Thomas de Monaco talking about these 3 fragrances, just search the channel for Thomas de Monaco and you should find the video. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.